for the Ron and Brian podcast. Get ready to fill your ears with the latest news, politics, current events, and whatever else we feel like talking about this week. And now, your hosts, Ron and Brian.
All right, and good evening. It is Sunday night, 8 o'clock, and it is time for episode 195 of the Ron and Brian podcast. I'm Ron, as always, joined by the man of the hour, Brian. Brian, how goes it, my friend?
Ron?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you something. This past week, we've had some highs, we've had some lows,
Yes.
ups, downs. We've zigged, we've zagged. But more importantly, I just want to let everyone know that if you're out there and you are being really hard on yourself right now for something that happened, it's normal. That is what's going to happen to you in life. No one gets through unscathed. We are all going to have a few scratches on us. Please be kind to yourselves. Stand up for yourself.
Very
please.
nice. Should we start off the week with some good news to give the people?
I thought you were going to ask me whose quote did I just use.
I felt it was Mother Teresa.
Taylor Swift.
Wow. I always forget how much of a Swiftie you are. Always forget that. But good news, quick trolley
Good news.
update. We have talked about the foster dog trolley that's been hanging out here in our home for we're going on almost a little over 3 weeks now. Well, good news, later this week, trolley is going to be going to her forever home. We had a meet and greet with a potential adopter yesterday who has decided to bring this lovely dog home. She's sitting back here in the recliner, excited to be part of the podcast, but excited to be going to her forever home. As a reminder out there to everybody, adopt, don't shop. Brian, you'll never even get to meet Trolley. She'll be out of here before you will be able to come visit.
It's possible she gets returned. I'm just, I think that it needs to be pointed out that you are the hero of the week. You and your wife are the official Ron and Brian podcast heroes of the week for fostering a dog. You have several cats.
Yep.
6?
Yes, that is correct.
6. You have a dog.
We do, yes.
Paisley. And yet you still found it in your home and in your hearts to open up and let this dog who needed a home survive a period of time, not in a cage, not on a cold concrete floor, but in a loving, warm home. That's right. And that, it needs to be said just how there are good people in this world. There are some good Charlie. Oh, dog can't hear me.
Can't hear me. Headphones on, but yes,
but
in the recliner there.
But yeah, I think you guys need to be commended. And for those people out there, if you can, foster an animal, foster a dog,
Agreed.
Foster a cat, foster a Ukrainian refugee family if you can. There's a lot of empty bedrooms in America. There are Ukrainian refugees who are fleeing a war zone right now. Later on that, we'll talk about that later. But kudos to the two of you for fostering that dog. And what was she there for? About 3 weeks?
A little over 3 weeks. Yeah, we got her three Saturdays ago.
And during that period of time, you made her comfortable, and that deserves to be recognized.
We healed her. We treated her ailments, and now she is, I think, ready to move on to bigger and better things.
And in a way, Ron, didn't she also heal you?
Who rescued who, Brian? Who rescued who? Yeah, we should foster Brian. That's what we've often said.
Well, I think the idea has always been that once we do reach a certain age and of retirement time, that I will be moving in with Ron and his wife, who will take care of me, because obviously I will need to be taken care of.
Obviously. Well, let's get things rolling. Good news, good way to start the week. Let's keep it rolling with a drink of the week.
Drink of the week.
Na zdrowie!
Salud.
Drink of the week.
Crunch it!
Prost.
Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week.
All right,
Drink of the
Brian, what are you drinking this week?
Ron, when I say the words Staten Island, New York, what do you think?
I think of the incredibly high toll to get over the Verrazano Bridge.
I think that moving forward, you should think about, hold on, our good friends over at Flagship Brewing Company, founded in 2014 in the neighborhood of Tompkinsville on the waterfront of Staten Island's North Shore, with the goal to make unforgettable beer in the Forgotten Borough. Only steps away from the Staten Island Ferry, well worth the visit. Our friends over at Flagship sent me over their Kill von Kolsch, coming in at 4.9%. It has a subtle Pilsner malt flavor that is paired with a mild fruitiness from Huile Melon hops for a well-balanced beer. Top fermented as an ale, but cold conditioned as a lager. This beer is perfect for any condition.
Nice. Take a sip. Let me know how it
Cheers,
is. Mazel. Prost, if you will. Taking a second sip. All right.
Yeah, it's so nice to not have to drink an IPA. It's so nice after probably, I would say, a year and a half of forcing IPAs down my throat, much like the penises of the Navy sailors during
Fleet Week?
Yes. Anywho, Ron, what are you drinking?
So this week, we love collaborations, don't we, Brian?
If there's anything that I love more than is a brewery who is taking on some type of social agenda, mixing in a politician, and coming up with a beer that you will buy.
Well,
Ron, what have you got?
This isn't quite that kind of collaboration. It's a collaboration between two breweries. This is Workhorse Brewery out of King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. They partnered with Cape May Brewing out of Cape May, New Jersey, obviously making this cold black Indian Pale Ale cut from the same cloth, from the blue-collar pride and drive of Pennsylvania to the creative and service-centric minds of the Jersey Shore, cut from the same cloth as a collaboration brew between Workhorse and Cape May. This cold black IPA takes two traditional styles, lager and any IPA, and combines them to create an entirely new way to imbibe. Clocking in at 6%. Take a look at this cold black IPA. First time trying this one.
That looks like the way I take my coffee.
It's bitter. It's got some bite.
He's going back for more.
It's not bad. It's a very even though you expect the hoppiness from the IPA, it's got like a bitter crispness to it. I don't know that I could have more than one, but it's definitely very flavorful.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
6%, usually on the higher end of the beers that you go for. Is that because of the pajama party that we are doing tonight at 9:30 live Sunday for those who are watching live for our Patreon subscribers? Once a month, the last Sunday of every month, we invite our Patreons to join us on the show. We've got some amazing content lined up. It's a way for people to support the show and to really create a community, which is something you and I have done over the past 195 episodes.
Very true. Very true. Valid question about the beer, though. Any lactose? No lactose this week.
Which is why you said you're only going to have one of them.
That's right. I had to clean up the beer fridge a little bit. I had to get rid of some beers that have been sitting there for a while. So it was you'll have a whole new selection the next time you come to visit.
What is your throwaway policy for beers?
When it gets to the point that I can't remember when I put it in the fridge, that's when I figure it's time to probably get rid of it.
That's fair. That's
All right.
actually that's a really good barometer for when to toss a beer.
All right, there you go.
Very good. What else?
Thank you. What else? Beef of the week is what else?
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
Brian, what's bothering you this week?
Listen, that's the subject everyone's going to be talking about this week is the Russian invasion of Ukraine, something that has been talked about leading up weeks of hostility. I certainly am not in a position where I can opine. That's a lie. I'm going to be opining. But my beef of the week this week is conservatives, including Donald Trump, who have come out over the past few days declaring that Putin never would have invaded the Ukraine if Donald Trump was still president, because Putin's only invading Ukraine because of the weakness of Joe Biden. That has infuriated me this week.
Has it? Okay.
The conservative movement's leader over the past 4 years has gone concerningly out of his way to support Putin, no matter what he's doing, to flatter him, to take the word of Putin over the word of the American intelligence agencies on a variety of different subjects. The fact that during the 4 years that Trump was in power, Putin's rise and ascension to a position where he was primed to invade another country, especially a country, the Ukraine, where Trump famously ordered the withholding of military aid in lieu of digging up dirt on Joe Biden. It is just so upsetting to me to hear the conservatives who are so adept at writing a narrative that is not based on their own previous words, that they will just say whatever they want to say in that movement, in that time, and they just know that people will just blindly follow them. That is my beef of the week. Ron,
Fair
what's
enough.
bothering you?
Well, can I give you my thoughts on your beef for a moment? Because I was aggravated by this as well. My only takeaway, my only thought in the way that this could potentially be anywhere close to valid is, yes, I agree with you. Like Donald Trump was, I don't know necessarily that he was Putin's bitch, but clearly he is the bitch of many Russian oligarchs and owes debts and things of that nature. But
Sure, allegedly,
with the public outcry of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, this might have been like the one situation where he would have to break and go against Russia, and he's such a wild card. He's so unstable that he could have potentially done that by responding in a military fashion. Whereas if I'm Putin, I'm going to realize that Joe Biden isn't going to respond militarily. He's only going to respond with sanctions, and sanctions aren't going to impact people like Putin. It'll impact the general lives of the Russian people, but it won't impact the oligarchs and Putin and the billionaires that really control the government over there. And let's be honest, Russia is no longer a communist country. Russia has ceased being communist for years. It's
correct.
A totalitarian dictatorship run by extremely wealthy people. But that's just my take.
But that's all. Did you just describe the United States, or were you describing Russia?
Well, again, we're not that distant anymore.
I will counter what you just said in terms of trying to rationalize validity to it, and I will say that one of Trump's main agendas during his administration was to weaken NATO as much as possible. He openly went about demanding that America pay less. He threatened to not support NATO. He threatened to withhold support. NATO as a entity is weaker today than it was 5 years ago, primarily because the fact that Europe's lost an ally for 4 years. I do not believe under any circumstances that Donald Trump, if he were president today, would sit there and say, "Oh, we have to go support Europe." And just as a perfect reference is that is just as recently as 2 days ago, he sat there and said, "What a genius and savvy leader Putin is."
No, when you're right, Brian. When you're right, I have to admit it. So you are right
Ron?
to be outraged. Yes.
Is it bothering you that I'm right?
No, it's not bothering me. I appreciate you being right. I can give you that.
Thank you.
Okay.
What's bothering you, Ron? What's your beef of the week?
So my beef seems kind of inconsequential versus what you have just brought up. My beef is with Walmart this week, Brian. Walmart.
Oh.
I have broken down. I've become even more bougie than usual. I now have my groceries delivered by Walmart on a weekly business. Testing out that Walmart Plus deal they have, so you don't pay for delivery fees and whatnot. So anyway, their big thing with the groceries is they say, if we're out of something, we'll try and substitute that item for you, and you will never pay more for that item. So one of the things I ordered was boneless chicken breast. It was like $2 a pound, like the family pack. So it would have been like.
Did you get the thin cut or no? Or you like to do that yourself?
I do it myself. Why am I going to pay extra? When I can just get the chicken breast cut it myself. Well, anyway,
I know you like to pound your meat.
Yeah,
you like to pound your meat.
They were out of the chicken breast though, and they substituted the chicken tenderloin strips. But the thing is, so in theory, it was less money because like the pack they sent was only like $7. But because it cost like $3 something a pound, I only got like 2 pounds of chicken versus the 4 pounds of chicken I would have gotten otherwise. So I don't feel like, yes, it didn't cost as much, but I don't feel like I got the appropriate substitution.
But you got less. So now when you called Walmart Plus to complain, what happened?
I just don't even bother to complain.
Really?
Yeah, there's no customer service in the world anymore, Brian.
But you're the same person that wrote off to the company when they didn't deliver all your spices during the pandemic. You got shorted on garlic powder, and if I remember correctly, you were complaining about the customer service.
I guess I've found perspective, Brian. If there's anything that good question. They didn't ask if I want to substitute or cancel. Unfortunately, I was busy in a meeting for work, so I did not respond within like the little half-hour window to say I don't want this substitution.
I feel like Janelle just brought up a very good point that that Walmart did make the attempt to bring this to your attention prior to
I'm just saying there is a flaw in their system is all I'm saying.
Yeah, the flaw is that you didn't respond during the 30-minute window, and then you're going to complain about it afterwards.
All right, now you are my beef of the week.
You are my beef cake of the week, Ron. So touche.
Since we've been talking about Ukraine, do we want to talk about everything that's been going on this week? The Russian invasion of Ukraine, Ukraine fighting valiantly, holding their ground, frustrating the Russian military, and not making it move. Everyone assumed that Kiev would have fallen by now, but they have held firm.
Sure.
I think I shared a video earlier with you of a Ukrainian farmer stealing a Russian tank, just hooking it on the back of his tractor. And that seems to be an issue, is that I don't know if the army wasn't prepared for the length of time that they would be fighting, but a number of their armored vehicles have been running out of fuel. Again, I guessing they weren't going to be going through such a prolonged fight.
What I read was, and obviously nobody knows what the Russian military's plans were, other than the Russian military. However, what I read was that the expectation was that the Russians were going to steamroll over the Ukrainian military, such that there would not be a need for refueling. There was not the supply system built into their attack plan. There was not the logistics. So what you are seeing is a very strong first line of attack, but there's not much behind it.
Right.
That does not mean that there are not people dying. There are not innocent people who are currently injured or maimed, losing limbs. Where this is war.
Right.
Military, Russia did start with an air campaign, dropping bombs and missiles from the air prior to the tanks coming in. What I am enjoying, and I say that in a way in which the word enjoying could be so easily misconstrued. I you know me, I do not like being misconstrued. Do
No.
not misconstrue me.
Never.
But is how much of the street action throughout the Ukraine is being filmed and shared on social media. Go on Instagram,
Right.
go on TikTok. There are, well, I mean, it depends. What are you looking for in your social media video of Ukraine? If you're looking for something serious, I'm going to say go to Facebook. If you want to see innocents being injured, go to Twitter. If you're looking for hot Ukrainian women who have decided to pick up guns, go to Instagram.
Okay.
If you are looking for video of Ukrainian citizens on the street openly mocking the Russian military, TikTok has a monopoly of that shit.
That is true.
And absolutely, and I am all for it. There was a video I believe you also sent me earlier of a Ukrainian guy picking up a mine while smoking a cigarette so he could toss the mine off of a road.
Yeah.
Like the lack of respect for the Russian military. There was the famous story earlier this week of a elderly woman who approached a Russian soldier who's occupying Ukraine and handed him sunflower seeds and said to him, you are going to die on our soil, and I would like these seeds to produce flowers sometime in the spring. So please keep these in your pockets. I was just like, the balls on this lady. I love it.
I think the one thing that we have learned is don't fuck with Ukrainians, because they are of a different breed than others. They are tough.
Ukraine is not weak. Ukraine is strong.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So if we mentioned it before we were doing the show, can you in 155 words or fewer,
Okay.
can you describe to me what is the justification that the Russians have for invading Ukraine?
I mean, I've heard a lot of different theories. I mean, I think part of it is, a few years back, the pro-Russia government in the Ukraine was pushed out, and Zelensky obviously was, elected. There is apparently concern within Russia of Ukraine joining NATO. Part of that being, if you look at Russia and look at its history, whenever Russia has been invaded, because they don't have a lot of mountainous areas in that Western plain. So countries have been able to invade them by just rolling in. And their fear is, with Ukraine, if they become part of NATO, that would allow passage right into their country if anyone wanted to invade or attack them. I've also heard there is a port in the Ukraine that Russia would like control of. A lot of Russia is in obviously very northern regions. So the majority of the ports of Russia are closed for the majority of the year. They only have one port that is able to remain open all 12 months out of the year because of the weather conditions. One of the next closest port that can stay open throughout the entire year is in the Ukraine. So I'm hearing a lot of different reasons, but my guess is it's probably a mix of the NATO issue and the port issue.
So there was nothing necessarily time sensitive or imminent. This feels like a manufactured assault.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was something that they had planned out, and and possibly is it a case of is the country suffering from similar supply chain issues that we are, and was it necessary to try and capture that port? Were they trying to take over Ukraine before there could be any movement with Ukraine becoming part of NATO? Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, there was nothing that really showed much urgency as to why they would need to
Got it.
invade as quickly as they did.
And let's also point something out. Joe Biden is painfully weak, and he does not, under any circumstances, project as a president that is going to do anything other than some whack ass sanctions,
Right. I mean,
which will serve no purpose whatsoever.
what is interesting is not only has Biden and the U.S. Government responded. There has been a number of American businesses that have responded. I know a number of U.S. airlines that partner with Russian airlines have canceled flights. U.S. tour companies that arrange tours that go to or through Russia have canceled. Even down to liquor stores and bars in the United States pulling any Russian liquor brand. There are now
cancel culture at its worst.
There's now going to be selected Russian banks that are going to be removed from the SWIFT global banking network. So that's really going to cut off a lot of the financial ability of a number of areas of the country.
Will I still be able to receive my monthly Russian mail order bride catalog? Or do you think that there will be a disruption there too?
You could experience a delay.
God damn it.
I would just be prepared for that. But again, I mentioned it earlier. The frustrating thing is that these sanctions, these things, they only impact the average Russian, who is, the average Russians are against this war. I mean, whenever have you seen people marching in Moscow against war?
Ron,
you're disagreeing with me?
Listen, under what circumstances do you believe that you can speak as an authority of what the average Russian on the street is thinking right now? Like you should hold on. I'm not done yet. About 23 minutes ago, you were complaining that Walmart Plus sent you chicken tenderloins as opposed to a family pack of chicken breasts. That was your greatest upset issue of the week. Now, fast forward 25 minutes, and you are now an authority of the average Russian and what their thoughts are on this war. Ron, defend yourself.
I'm multifaceted and very diverse.
I can't deny that. That actually is true. That actually is true.
Good question from Billy. Will Baltica continue to sponsor the show? In allegiance with our friends in the Ukraine, we have actually removed the episode of Racism Madness that Baltica sponsored. We removed all of the episodes, and we will not put them back up until Russia ceases its attack of the Ukraine.
We have also taken off all references to Joe Rogan from all of our previous episodes.
Any other questions you have for me about the Ukraine?
No, you just really I hope, I don't know whether you realize this or not, but we've done it the last couple of weeks, and I find it interesting when you explain the news to me.
Well, maybe we'll make that a regular segment.
I'm okay with that, because I've spent the entire past 3 weeks focusing and thinking about what is is there going to be war in Eastern Europe? What's going on over there? But you were able to just explain to me the why, which is not something that I had thought about earlier. So kudos to you for doing that once again, Ron. You have brought information to the masses, to the people, to me, to Trolley,
to everybody.
Well,
let's bring Walker, it back. Let's bring it back Bring it back to the U.S. Pennsylvania. Can I share with you, Brian? I don't know if you remember or not, but Dr. Oz is running for Senate here in the state of Pennsylvania. He is in the GOP primary to try and be the
Sure.
GOP candidate for the U.S. Senate. Well, now there's a GOP PAC called Honor Pennsylvania that is coming out against Dr. Oz. They do not want him to be the GOP candidate, and they have they're backing his opponent, and they've started to run
Republican in name only.
Rhino. Oz's family company hired illegal immigrants. So brave.
Oz supported those red flag laws that take away people's guns.
Oz criticized heartbeat bills.
So liberal.
Oz isn't running in California?
What is a Pennsylvania?
This sounds right for Hollywood. Wrong for Pennsylvania.
So they are inundating Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and parts of central Pennsylvania with these ads, tying Oz to California and liberalism. And it's it's so enjoyable to watch the GOP eat their own.
But it is actually really well done because it looks like a shitty Hollywood reality show.
Oh, sure, without a doubt. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But yeah, I just got a kick out of that and wanted to share that with you.
Now, at what point? Now, you are a registered Republican, is that correct?
I am not. No, I am a registered Democrat.
Surprised. Very surprised.
Really? Why do you say that?
I was a registered independent for many years until I forgot which primary I went to go vote in, and I was told that you are not allowed to vote in the primary for the Democratic Party unless you are a registered Democrat. And I registered as a Democrat right after that.
All right. And are you still registered
to vote?
Yeah. As a Democrat. All right. Just checking. Yeah. Just making sure.
So I do believe that in certain in ways I have been swinging somewhat libertarian.
Just a little bit. You know what we haven't done in a while, Brian? We haven't taken a look at our
gay sex.
That either, but we haven't taken a look at our local Facebook pages. Brian,
yes.
Do you have any posts from your local Facebook pages that you would like to share?
I have one. I sent it to you earlier. One of the things, we did this a couple weeks ago. I had a blast with it. I think that most people did. So this is my local neighborhood Facebook group, and El Hussein Baha posted on Facebook 3 days ago, mind you, I had the worst experience with Pizza Hut today. It took them 1 hour and a half to get it at my door, and even worse than that, it was so cold and hard, just like my penis. Even my kids didn't want to eat it, just like my penis. I hope they get enough complaints and get their act together. And what really drove me nuts was the 129 comments that were generated from this post. I mean, you should be fucking embarrassed living in New York City, and you are going to provide for your children Pizza Hut. It is vile. It is not. It has zero nutrition to it. It is fillers, it is fats, it's sugars and salts. So El Hussein Baha, you should have been too embarrassed to even post this.
All right, Brian, I think I can top that, and I don't always say that, but I think I can top that because we had a fantastic post on one of our local Facebook pages earlier today. Someone posted a group of young guns just rode by McKinley Market on dirt bikes and four-wheelers, taking up both lanes. All right, fair enough. So Darcy, what does this mean? Question mark, question mark, question mark. We aren't profiling folks, are we? for what they look like going by you? What makes you concerned? What were they doing exactly to make you concerned? More info would be helpful? Question mark, question. Too many question marks.
So many question marks here. So many.
So the poster Carol says they were riding on both sides of the road on off-road vehicles. Well, there's your more information. Michelle, I had 2 cars in front of me burning their tires and racing each other on a tight street. They do donuts and look to take over the roads. On a nice day, they're all over Broad Street and cause traffic. You do realize ATVs are illegal in PA. I'm sure Montgomery County cops won't tolerate them. Jim asking the real question, what does that mean? ...
Question mark.
Alyssa, no, not the young guns. Do you see which way they went? Now, Alyssa is busting balls, and she will appear later on in another comment.
Oh, I love this so much.
Stephanie, and this matters why?
Hold up. Can we go back to Stephanie for a moment?
Sure.
Look at her profile photo.
Yes.
Oh, is that embarrassing?
Mark, what does young guns mean? Good question. Stas says, pass me on township line. Concerned. So
now, was Stas concerned, or was or were the young guns? Now, when they say young guns, are we talking Emilio Estevez, Kiefer Sutherland?
Hold that joke. You're getting ahead of me here.
Damn it.
So Alyssa jumps back in, responding to Stas. Were they headed north, east, south, or west? Stas responds to Alyssa, northbound. To which Alyssa responds, okay, if they were going south, southeast, I was going to panic.
I love this Alyssa gal. I love this gal.
Benjamin.
I may have to friend her.
Benjamin asks, was it young Chris and Neef? Who, those of you who know the game, that was Young Guns from 2003, rap hits from in Philly.
Okay.
Yes, someone did provide a Lou Diamond Phillips photo post, which it took me a moment, and then I was like, Young Guns. Then just random photo posts of people being concerned, telling her to calm down a bit. And of course, you had to get one photo of barbecue Becky in there to really round it out. Just
Ron, you killed it.
Top notch, just top notch.
Ron,
I don't know how it gets better than that.
Genius. Kudos to you.
So yeah, well, you should have. I mean, Janelle brings up a good point. Brian, you should have showed the pizza comments. I expect a slideshow from you next time.
Next time, you know what? Let's make sure we do this on a weekly bit. And next time we will include comments. Because God damn it, Brian, you really brought that.
That was, and again, I'm sure there are people still commenting on it. That was all I was able to pull prior to the podcast today.
But there's something. But don't you agree with me that there's something the sense of community that comes out when, and it's only on Facebook,
right?
When one person posts something taking such a moral high ground on an issue, and watching it quickly devolve into just blatant and completely open mockery of the
right.
original poster. Oh, does that make me feel good?
Now, I will say someone posted a video later on, and there literally had to be like between 30 and 40 like four-wheelers and dirt bikes that were flying down the road. So, all right.
Sure.
A bit of a potential hazard. But again, that's why you just inform the police. You don't necessarily need to just hop on Facebook and be like, what are we going to do about this, folks? Well, we're not going to do anything because we're public citizens. You're going to leave it to the police to handle.
Ron, the police will do nothing. Speaking from New York City, we have a roaming ATV and dirt bike. I want to say clubs. I do not want to use the word gang because I'm not going to make any assumptions or whatnot. But during the summer of 2020 and 2021, it was common to look out your window and to see a group of 30, 40, 50 guys just taking over the roads, not abiding by street lights, not abiding by dotted lines and double yellow lines.
Sure. You remember from your driving days.
Sure. Sure. That was gold. That was absolute gold.
Yeah. So I will keep an eye out because we have a lot of that goes on our local Facebook page.
Well, you do live in a privileged neighborhood.
A little bit. A skosh. Not gonna lie.
You know, just the fact that you called it a skoosh.
A skosh, just a touch.
A skoosh, a skoosh.
So new news came out in the death of Bob Saget, former Full House star, comedian, America's Home Video, all that. So some conspiracy theories started to roll out a couple weeks back because, as information about his death came out, it was revealed that he suffered severe skull fractures. One doctor speculated that they could have been caused by falling from several stories or a baseball bat attack. So, of course, the internet grabbed that and ran with it to the point that his widow and daughter filed filed a lawsuit to stop information from being released from the police, from the coroner's office. But information did come out this past week that investigators now believe that Saget lost consciousness in the bathroom, fell backward onto the marble floor, striking his head, hitting it hard enough to crack his skull. And then he is believed to have regained consciousness and stumbled into bed before losing consciousness again and dying.
That shit's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say this, but as a result of this accident, and I think we can call it an accident, as a result of that, I tore out all the marble in my bathroom. You know me. I invested about $75,000 about 10 years ago. I went all marble in my bathroom. It was, I just felt that it was, it was a wise investment. Obviously I rent. So what better way to spend your money than going all marble in my bathroom? And hearing that this is how Bob Saget passed away, I sat there, looked in my bathroom, and I said, I'm not safe here. So I tore it all out, went to Home Depot, and bought bottom of the line, lousy, absolute garbage. And really, go fuck yourself, Billy. Go fuck yourself.
Billy with the fire comments again this evening. I will say that is, for when I travel for work and I have to stay, be away from home for a night or two, like that's like my number one fear is that I will die like on the road in a hotel somewhere.
Well, if I could get more specific with you, I mean, I think the real fear is that you die in bed in the hotel room and there's like 4 tissues on the bed right next to you or on like the nightstand. Like, I think that is, I'd be more concerned that I died with used dirty tissues next to my bed than if I died on the toilet.
I hear. But I've had that. At hotels I've worked.
You've died at the toilet?
We've had people die overnight. Just people traveling for work. They go to bed. They don't wake up the next day.
No way.
Yep.
What is the process? And if you can't talk about it, I understand.
Yeah, I mean the process is you call the police. The police come in because you never know what the situation might be. So the police come in. They check everything out. They secure the scene. Then they, with the body's removed, and then you notify the families.
Do you clean the room? Like, do you throw out the bed? Like, what goes on in there?
I mean, you clean the room. I mean, depending on what was involved in the death, you may need to have a company come in and clean it. You might need to replace, things in the room. It's hard to say.
What was the how many deaths have you had to deal with over the years?
I would say I want to say 4 or 5.
What was the messiest one?
We had someone commit suicide with a shotgun.
Oh,
that leaves a bit of a mess. Now, the craziest one I know of, it wasn't in my hotel. It was in a hotel in downtown Philadelphia that had balconies outside of their rooms. And a
Sure.
guy rented a room as close to the top floor as he could get. He went
Right.
onto the balcony. He had a shotgun as well. And he had his back to the edge of the balcony, and he positioned it so he shot himself in the head with the shotgun, but he also positioned it so that the force of the shotgun blast would push him over the balcony railing and drop him like 20 stories to the ground.
Wow.
So like this was a man who's like, I'm not gonna be one of these guys that screws up my suicide and ends up, in a wheelchair. I'm going out. So yeah, if the shotgun hadn't done it, the 20-story plus fall certainly did.
And the shotgun to the face, I mean, it literally takes the head off, correct?
Yeah.
Wow. That is heavy.
Speaking of people shooting themselves, a 15-year-old girl in the Mexican state of Sinaloa was killed when she tried to film herself posing with a 9mm Uzi submachine gun for a TikTok video. Yasmin Esmeralda was visiting her grandmother in the small town of Guasave with her mother and younger brother last month when the incident happened. So we have had people dying for the gram previously. Now we have people dying for the talk. She apparently found the weapon at the bottom of a bedroom closet. Again, visiting her grandmother, finds a submachine gun in the bedroom closet, asked her brother to film her holding the gun so she could upload it to TikTok. But the gun went off by accident, killing her instantly.
Ron, did you watch seasons 2 and 3 of Narcos Mexico?
I did not, no.
Then you would be very familiar with the Sinaloa area because that is where El Chapo was the head of the cartel in Sinaloa.
Right,
he put Sinaloa on the map.
And literally put it on the map.
And she put her brains on the map on the wall.
Oh, boy.
That grandma put up.
This is a perfect time to remind you, speaking of which, we are on TikTok. On the Ron and Brian,
yes.
Just search for the Ron and Brian podcast on your TikTok app. We put up our very first video this week. Those ice breaking videos were all the craze. So I had some ice in the backyard earlier today. Nothing to do if you're listening, but if you are watching on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook, it's golden right now. Oh, look at that piece of ice, right?
Look at that ice.
Look how perfect it is. Then you gotta break it. You gotta break it.
Drop it, Daddy.
Break it.
Drop it. Oh.
So again, the Ron and Brian podcast at TikTok.
Listen, we've talked about the TikTok algorithm. It is very self-replicating.
Mm-hmm.
If you show an interest in something, it will deluge you in videos along those lines. But what it also does is every now and then it slips something in there that it thinks you may be interested in. And hot damn, I almost always am. I don't understand the ice breaking videos. I don't understand why it is established that men prefer watching a sheet of ice break rather than women. But hot damn, if I see a video of some of a hand lifting up a sheet of ice, I will watch it to its end. I want to see how that thing breaks.
Yeah, you will watch it.
It is
to its
wild. Also, I will also watch anything having to do with barbecue. If somebody is barbecuing something, I will watch that also.
I've gotten into the cooking TikTok, if you will.
Well, we know that you sous vide.
Well, I've gotten into the locale cooking TikTok. That seems to have been where my algorithm has been trending.
Got it.
Oh, you know what time it is, Brian? Before it gets too late, it is time for Dead Anti-Vaxxer of the Week.
Dead Anti-Vaxxer of the Week.
So, Brian, who are you bringing to the table for Dead Anti-Vaxxer this week?
You know, this one grabbed my attention, not on the story.
Okay.
on this fucking photo right here.
That is
Ladies
a
and
glorious
gentlemen,
mullet.
I would like to introduce you to Bruce Thomas, or the man whose look I will be stealing for the next 35 years of my life. Bruce Thomas, business up front, party in the back, wraparound shades. This man fucks. I mean, past tense. This man fucked. Bruce Thomas of Defiance, Ohio. So right off the bat, the fact that he lives in Defiance, Ohio, you're already guessing to yourself, "Hey, let me get this straight. This man's not going to be pro mask mandate. Let me guess." Bruce Thomas, self-proclaimed hippie, posted a lot of things about I'm an ageless hippie, a rock and roll heart, and a never-ending hope for peace. Then he also loved his marijuana, posting on Facebook, cannabis isn't the problem, ignorance is the problem. Then he starts to lose me. Early January 2021, he started posting, Democrats are evil. Fuck you, Joe Biden, and your Democratic Party. Bine, not Biden. Bine. And this is where we start to lose him, because then he starts talking about that the police are putting people in the local area in lockdowns for testing positive. I'm going to read what was practically his last post on Facebook, dated January 28th. Take a deep breath. Anybody really stopped and thought about what they're doing? I want an honest answer. Keep in mind, there's no punctuation in any of this. So the pauses that I will put in may or may not be where the sentence takes a twist. I want an honest answer. Think about it. I asked a group of 5 this question in their mouths hanging open. I said, so tell me, I don't know why I'm using an accent, but it's getting stronger the deeper I get into this. So tell me, you trust the government and they didn't say nothing, but you're going to turn around and trust the government when they say take this shot? You don't work that way. And I'm in the hospital now with COVID, and I still am not going to take the shot. I'm not going to be a guinea pig. Keep in mind, this is already over a year after the vaccines were released. I'm not going to be a guinea pig for the government that people look it up and you can find it. People have become like magnetic. And I know you've heard me say before, but it really isn't all about, that's it, about trust in the government. If we ever trusted the government, we'll try some on this one. Yeah, they was dependent on that. Look out.
Good read.
On February 2nd of 2022, Bruce Thomas posted, hey, any friends out there like to drop some prayers? I think maybe 3 would work. I was in the hospital with COVID. I'm home, but I'm not doing any better. The new virus, Omicron, it's no joke. Actually, Bruce Thomas, you're a little fucking bitch, because I got Omicron and it was absolutely a joke compared to the first round COVID. February 3rd, in the nursing home for COVID. February 9th, Laurels of Defiance is the worst place I've ever been at. Made me scream, do not come here. If this is the number 1 nursing home, I need to see the others. And then he started to lose it. Unfortunately, Bruce did not survive COVID, passing away earlier this month. Bruce Thomas, we're going to miss you all.
Well, that's the brown in the mullet is my biggest question. Like, does he dye it? Does he put streaks in there? So many questions that we will never be able to get answered now.
The mustache, perfectly manicured.
Yep.
High and tight up top.
Yep.
Luscious locks in the back. This man definitely banged a chick in a pickup truck in the back of a local townie bar at some point during the 80s.
No doubt. Well, I can't beat that mullet, Brian, but I do have my own dead anti-vaxxer of the week to bring to the screen. That on the right there is Carla Ann Perry. On her left, her husband, Joseph. Carla is the author of The Reformation of America. Joseph says that he's a religious leader, speaker, author, and coach consultant. Carla is a Calvinist, a follower of John Calvin, the well-known Protestant reformer. But she is an anti-vaxxer. She catches COVID along with her husband. Oh, I should also mention, for some reason, she is against the $15 minimum wage. And she is also was against the eviction moratorium during COVID. So it just seems like an overall horrible individual. Catches COVID back in late January. Is on and off ventilators. Her husband, again, asking for prayers. I think your person was asking for 3 prayers. He was asking for 5. Healing from pneumonia, rising SAT levels and less need of oxygen, comfort for her body, peace in her soul, mind, and that she gets plenty of rest. Oh, if you're on a ventilator in a coma, I think that's all you can do is rest. And inevitably, after going up and down, again, oxygen levels rising, dropping, ventilator being taken off, putting back on. Putting? That's not a word. Put back
Listen,
on.
For these anti-vaxxers, putting, yep, that's how they would have pronounced it. They're putting her back on the ventilator.
The inevitable GoFundMe campaign, the inevitable complaining that they won't use quote unquote alternative medicines. And sadly, on February 20th, Carla passes away, going home to Jesus. So at the age of 41, way too young.
So fucking young, way too young. Ron, let me ask you a quick question here.
Yes, my friend.
This lovely couple that you're seeing, Carla and what was this fine gentleman's name?
Joseph, yes. Joseph.
Carla and Joseph. What do you think their go-to order at Cracker Barrel was?
Ooh, she is chicken and dumplings, because that they can make it like Mama used to make it.
Yep.
And he, you know what? He goes there because you can get breakfast 24 hours a day. And the good Lord wants him to have pancakes at 6 p.m. at night. And that's why he goes to Cracker Barrel.
Well done. Well done, my friend. You know why? Because I can't tell you that I think you're wrong. I think you're spot on.
And those, our friends, are the dead anti-vaxxers of the week.
Dead anti-vaxxer of the week.
The coughing gets me every time.
Every week.
It gets me every time.
Not a lot of COVID stories this week. Obviously, we're coming out of the pandemic. Tests are up, cases are down, hospitalizations are down, deaths are down. But there was a couple of studies released on Saturday that says that a market in Wuhan that sold live animals likely was the point of origin for COVID-19 and not any type of laboratory. So University of Arizona co-authored both studies and said, when you look at all of the evidence together, it's an extraordinary clear picture that the pandemic started at the Hunan market. So maybe not buy live animals in a wet market.
Fire Fauci. He is the real dictator.
Oh, I think we need to get to celebrity obituaries before we run out of time here. Because we had a couple that stung this week. That stung.
Yeah.
Comedian.
We had a couple that did not feel good.
Yep. Comedian, Amazing Jonathan, called the Freddy Krueger of comedy, passing away at the age of 63. Real name, John Edward Sesless. I'm probably getting that last name wrong.
Yes.
Now, he had been battling heart disease for, I want to say, a good 15 years at least.
Yeah.
The fact that he lived as long as he did, kind of surprising. But one of my favorite comedians from back in the 90s. Like,
really?
his material, he was, when Comedy Central first came out, like, they didn't have a ton of content at the time, but his stand-up was one of those ones that they seemed to play on a fairly regular basis. And maybe it's my love of magic, my love of wanting to believe, and comedy. Just I enjoyed his show tremendously.
Did you say that you want to believe?
I want to believe in magic, Brian.
Do you believe in magic?
But also, if you haven't seen his documentary, check it out. Documentary.
Is that a Philly thing? I know you guys like to say hoogies and
water ice. I don't know why I say documentary. It's documentary.
You said documentary.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Anyway, if you have not checked out the Amazing Jonathan documentary, it's a good watch. I would recommend.
Yes.
Who else did we lose this week, Brian?
Sally Kellerman, who, to be brutally honest with you, I forgot she was still alive. Sally Kellerman, known as the original Hot Lips from the movie MASH, not the TV show. A looker from day one.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not day one. When she turned 18, she became a looker. Got to be careful nowadays. Passing away earlier this week in her home in California after a battle with dementia. Famed for not only her role in MASH, but also playing opposite Rodney Dangerfield in the 1986 comedy Back to School. She was also well known for her TV roles in The Outer Limits, 12 O'Clock High, Ben Casey, That Girl, Mannix. Most recently, she appeared as Mark Maron's mom on the IFC show Maron.
Passing away after a battle with dementia. Yeah, I mean, I remember her from Back to School. Like she was a smoke show in Back to School. Subtle, but
do you see this photo of her on Star Trek?
Oh yeah, I'm telling you.
Wow, you know who she looks like? Brie Olsen, Brie Larson. Yes,
she's got a very, very much a Brie Larson thing going on. And finally, Snooty Wild dying after allegedly being shot. The news of his passing was confirmed via his Instagram account yesterday afternoon, dying at the age of 36.
Poor Snooty. You know, there's been a lot of death in the rapper community lately. There's been a lot of violence in the rapper community, and these young guns, they really need to, be more careful when they're out on these streets. You know, there's a new breed of G's out there. You gotta protect your bag. You gotta stash your cash, and you got never be caught lacking, Ron.
Never be caught lacking, my friend.
Damn right.
What else happened this week? Oh, 3 Minneapolis police or former Minneapolis police were found guilty of violating George Floyd's civil rights in a federal trial on Thursday when they failed to intervene as Derek Chauvin leaned on Floyd's neck for almost 10 minutes. Former officers Tu Thao, Thomas Lane, and Jay Kung were charged with depriving Floyd of his civil rights for not providing medical care during the May 25th, 2020 fatal arrest. They could face up to life in prison, but will remain free on bond until their sentencing. No date has been set. No one is expecting them to get life in prison. Odds are we will see probably something in the 5 to 7 year range.
Really?
Yes, that's what I'm hearing. That's what my people are saying.
Okay.
I have people. You may not believe it, but I have people. Let's see, what else do we have this week? What other stories do we have on the list?
Ron, there's only one story that really matters, and that is our After Dark. Ooh. We are having our monthly Patreon pajama party coming up in 27 minutes. People, if you're watching right now live, you still have time. Go to the ronandbrianpodcast.com website. Click the link in the upper right-hand corner. Join our Patreon. As little as $5 a month gets you an audio version of our exclusive content, stories that YouTube, that Facebook, that Twitch do not want us to talk about. Goes behind the paywall. Sex, OnlyFans, pegging, all these types of things behind the paywall. Penis degloving behind the paywall. Not the things that might titillate the senses, but it's not family friendly. Kind of like Disney. And for $10 a month, when you think about it, $2.50 a week, every week you can watch the live stream of our After Dark. And once a month, at the last Sunday, which today happens to be, we invite our Patreons onto the show. We always have fun. We're joined by friends. And I hate to say it, after 195 weeks of this podcast, they are our family at this point. They're the Ron and Brian family.
That's right.
And they come on the show and we have a lot of fun. It's coming up in 25 minutes now. Time is ticking. Why do I feel like I'm doing one of those Jerry Lewis marathons where I'm pointing over to the board? I'm talking about how we need people's donations. I'm dragging little Timmy on his crutches out.
And you'll never walk alone.
I saw there was an article in the Post this past week that 2 actresses alleged that Jerry Lewis sexually assaulted them.
I would believe that. I would believe that.
Comes across like a pretty much of a dick, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we can't talk about Jerry Lewis without that movie that he shot. What was it? The Day the Clown?
Sad Clown. The Sad Clown or something.
The Day the Clown Cried. That was the name of it. Like, he literally did this movie about being a clown at a concentration camp that was supposed to lead the children into the gas chambers. And he felt like this was a project that needed to be made. And I don't think it's ever seen the light of day.
What I believe is that some still photos have leaked. And I believe that there are some very short video clips. But the movie got canned. It was wisely not released. Though I really feel like that shit would have been gold for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. Well, I don't think we have really too much else. I think we've hit all the good topics. I think we need to get ready, like you said, for our After Dark. It is our monthly pajama party. So we are ready to get ready for that. Anything additional that you have this week, Brian?
Nope. Just love each other. Be true to yourself. And if you have the opportunity to make somebody else's life a little bit better, take the opportunity and do it. For example, Ron and his wife fostered Charlie, the dog. And for the past 3 weeks, instead of sleeping in a cage, Charlie has been a part of the Ron home. And Charlie is now going to her forever home.
Yes, correct.
And here's the real question.
Yes.
Will you be fostering another animal?
We shall see. We shall see. We'll see. It has to be, obviously it has to be the right fit for the household. So
just make sure that you don't give away the 3rd floor bedroom just in case I get kicked out of this place and I need a place to stay. I know that the Ron and wife home will always be my second home.
That's right. And don't forget, tune in next Sunday. It will be a very special episode, as it will be my 51st birthday celebration. So please send gifts, send gift cards, send cash. But more importantly, tune in next Sunday night at 8 o'clock for episode 196. Brian, love you, my friend.
Love you.
I will see you after dark. Everybody else, we will see you next week.
Thank you for joining us on the Ron and Brian podcast. We're live each week on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You can find prior episodes, links to our social media, and everything else Ron and Brian at ronandbrianpodcast.com.